I opened my inbox at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning and saw a name I thought I'd never see again. Derek Mason. Subject line: Application for Senior Product Manager. 2 years ago, Derek stood in our office break room and made a bet. $500 that I'd be bankrupt by Christmas? He laughed so hard he spilled his coffee. Now his resume sat in my hiring queue. His LinkedIn banner said "Open to Work" in that sad little green frame. And I had a decision to make. How much do you forgive when karma does the work for you? How much grace do you owe someone who gave you none? I had 2 years of screenshots. Every laugh, every sneer, every email that said I'd fail. I opened his resume, and I smiled. Before we go further, drop your country and the time where you are. I want to know who's still grinding right now. And hit subscribe because you're going to want to see how this ends. Let me take you back 2 years. I worked at a mid-sized tech company in Denver. We built CRM tools for logistics companies. I was a back-end engineer. Derek was my manager. I built the entire core system, alone. Nights and weekends while the senior devs took credit in stand-ups. But I had a mentor, Vanessa, the CTO. She saw what I was doing and she told me something I'll never forget. Document everything. Not for revenge, for memory. So I did. I saved every Slack message, every code review, every email. I also saved $18,000. Enough for 18 months of runway if I lived like a monk. I was going to start my own company. When I put in my 2 weeks' notice, Derek looked at me like I'd spit in his coffee. "You're doing what?" "I'm launching a SaaS product. B2B workflow automation." He actually laughed, out loud, in the conference room. Then he called everyone into the break room. "Hey everyone, our boy here is going to be the next Elon Musk." Someone giggled. Derek fed off it. "I'll bet $500 he's back here, begging for his job in 6 months. "Who's in?" 3 people raised their hands. I walked out that day with a cardboard box and a list of names. I promised myself I'd remember. The mockery didn't stop when I walked out the door. It got worse. A week later, Derek tagged me in a LinkedIn post. "Startup culture is a cult for people who can't handle real jobs." He didn't mention me by name. He didn't have to. Everyone knew. Then came the email. Subject line: Offer letter. I opened it. My heart jumped for half a second. It was fake. "Dear startup bro, we'd love to welcome you back to the world of gainful employment when you're done playing entrepreneur. Your desk will be waiting. Regards, Reality." He CC'd 4 people. Then Jen from sales forwarded me a TechCrunch article. The headline: Why 90% of startups fail in year 1. Her subject line: You, 6 months. Marcus, one of the senior devs, posted on LinkedIn, "Startups are just unemployment with a pitch deck." It got 62 likes. I was alone in my apartment at 2 in the morning reading these messages, and a voice in my head started whispering, "What if they're right? What if I'm the joke?" Derek even texted mutual friends, asked them to check in on my mental health. Like I was fragile. Like I needed saving. The worst part? A voice in my head started to agree with them. Month 4 hit like a freight train. My runway was down to 11 weeks. My lead investor ghosted me after a competitor launched a similar feature. My co-founder quit. He sent a text at 9 p.m. on a Sunday. "I think the market timing is off. I'm out. Sorry, man." Just like that. I had one emergency freelance contract lined up. A $12,000 project that would buy me 2 more months. The client pulled out the next day. No explanation. Just, we're going in a different direction. I sat in a co-working space at midnight, alone, the only person left on the floor. I opened my banking app. $9,200. Enough for 2 months of server costs. Or 1 month of rent, not both. I stared at a spreadsheet. AWS bills in one column, rent in the other, and Derek's voice looped in my head. "You'll be back here begging in 6 months." I still had the screenshots. Every insult, every laugh, all indexed in a folder on my desktop. But screenshots don't pay bills. I thought about that desk he said he'd keep warm. I thought about the bet. Then I made one call. I called Vanessa, my old mentor, the CTO who told me to document everything. She picked up on the second ring. I was wondering when you'd call. I didn't even have to pitch. She'd been watching my progress on GitHub. She saw the product. I want to be your first customer. $48,000 a year. I'll introduce you to my network. 3 weeks later, I had 2 more clients. Mid-market logistics companies. Real revenue. I pulled up my Stripe dashboard. Monthly recurring revenue, $16,000. For the first time in 4 months, I exhaled. And then I opened the folder, the one I'd been building since the day I quit. Slack export. 247 messages. Every single one tagged by name, indexed by date. Derek's message from the day I left. Startup bro gonna learn the hard way, with a crying, laughing emoji. Jen's reply, how long till he's back? Marcus, under 6 months guaranteed. I didn't post them. I didn't send them to anyone. I just saved them in a folder labeled receipts. I wasn't going to use them for revenge. I was going to use them for memory. But the universe had other plans. 18 months later, everything changed. We hit $2.1 million in annual recurring revenue. We raised a Series A, 12 employees. An office in Boulder. I got featured in a 30 under 30 listicle. It was small, regional, but it was real. And then I saw the news. My old company, the one I'd left, announced layoffs. 40% of staff. They'd lost 3 major clients to offshore competitors. The Denver tech scene is small. I knew what was coming. I opened LinkedIn that morning and my feed was full of it. Polished headshots with green open to work banners. Vague posts about being grateful for the journey and excited for the next chapter. Then I saw Derek's. His post was pristine. No bitterness. No mention of what he'd said to people like me. Just, after an incredible 5 years, I'm exploring new opportunities. Let's connect. 2 hours later, Jen sent me a DM. Hey, long time. I saw your company is doing amazing. Would love to catch up. I stared at the message. She'd called me a cult member, publicly. The next day, my head of people pinged me on Slack. We have 3 applications from people who worked at your old company. Do you know them? I knew them. And in 6 days, our hiring committee would meet. I went back to the folder. Not just Slack this time. Everything. Derek's fake offer email. The one where he called me startup bro and CC'd 4 people to maximize the humiliation. The metadata was still there. Timestamp 3:47 p.m. CC list visible. Jen's forwarded article. Subject line intact. You, 6 months. Sent from her work email. On company time. Marcus's LinkedIn post calling startups. Unemployment with a pitch deck. I'd archived it on the Wayback Machine. 62 likes. All documented. But the hardest receipt was the one I almost forgot I had. A recording. I live in a one-party consent state. I'd recorded the break room bet on my phone. Just in case. Derek's voice clear as day. $500 says you're back here broke in 6 months. Who's in? Laughter. Clapping. 3 people saying, I'm in. I had the audio file, time-stamped, labeled. I also had emails where Derek CC'd senior leadership, mocking me to directors who could have mentored me instead. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just ready. Ready to set a boundary they'd never forget. I did what any good founder does. I researched. A little open source intelligence, a few mutual connections, some public records. Derek's house went on the market 3 weeks after the layoffs. Zillow listing, $680,000. He'd bought it in 2019 for $710. Underwater. Jen's Facebook was public. She posted about her kid's school fundraiser. The school's website listed tuition, $40,000 a year. Per kid, she had 2. Marcus's LinkedIn activity told me everything. He was posting at 11 p.m., 1 a.m., 3 nights a week for a month straight. His wife just had twins. I saw the announcement. Desperation doesn't network at midnight. And then it clicked. The mockery was never about me. It was about fear. Fear that someone younger, with no VP title, no corner office, no stock options, could do what they never risked. And now that fear had become bills they couldn't pay. Derek didn't hate me because I left. He hated me because I tried. And because I didn't fail. I sat with that for a long time. Then I knew exactly what I was going to do next. I called an emergency meeting. My co-founder and our head of people. 3 of us in a conference room. I wrote one question on the whiteboard. What kind of company are we? My co-founder spoke first. We don't stoop. But we don't lie either. Our head of people nodded. If we interview them, we ask about culture fit. Standard questions. If they lie, we show receipts. If they own it, we listen. I took a breath. We're not blackballing anyone. We're not ghosting them. We do this transparently, on the record, with witnesses. I opened my laptop and started writing. A hiring philosophy memo, 1 page. Section 3, on dignity, accountability, and second chances. I wrote it in 20 minutes, saved it as a PDF, CC'd our lawyer, just in case. The interviews were scheduled for Friday. 3 of them. Back to back. Derek at 10 a.m., Jen at noon, Marcus at 2. I wasn't going to humiliate them. I was going to give them a choice. Own it or walk away. Either way, I was going to sleep fine. Because I'd built something they said I couldn't. And no matter what they did now, that was already true. Friday morning, 10 a.m. Derek's face appeared on my screen. Zoom interview. 3 of us on my side. Him alone. He looked good, confident. He opened with charm. I've been following your journey. Really impressive what you've built. I've always respected founders who take risks. I let him talk for 5 minutes. Standard questions? He answered them well. Then I asked the culture question. Derek, tell us about a time you supported a colleague's risk-taking. He paused, smiled, started a generic answer about some team project. I waited until he finished. Then I said it. Because we have a record of a time you did the opposite. September 2021. A bet, actually. $500 that I'd fail within 6 months. Do you remember that? Silence. His face went pale. I shared my screen. First, the audio file transcription. His words in bold. $500 says you're back here, broke, in 6 months. Second, the Slack screenshot. His message. The laughing emoji. Startup bro gonna learn the hard way. Third, the email metadata. The fake offer letter, CC'd to 4 people. Time-stamped. I didn't raise my voice. I wasn't cruel. I was clinical. We're building a culture where people can take risks without being mocked. Can you help me understand how that behavior aligns with the values you just described? Derek opened his mouth. Nothing came out. 10 seconds of silence, then his video cut out. Call ended by participant. 2 hours later, Jen's interview started. I asked the same culture question. She didn't hesitate. I owe you an apology. I was scared. Scared of my own lack of courage. I said terrible things and I've regretted them ever since. I can't undo it. But I can own it. I listened. I thanked her. I moved her to the next round. Marcus never showed up. He sent a 1-line email at 1:58 p.m. Please withdraw my application. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Derek disappeared from LinkedIn for 4 months. When he came back, he had a new job. Mid-level product role. 2 states away. Smaller title. No mention of the interview. Jen made it through 3 rounds with us. We offered her the role. She declined. She'd already accepted another position. But she sent me an email I still have saved. Thank you for the fairest rejection I ever got. You didn't owe me that, but you gave it anyway. Marcus reached out 6 months later. Through a mutual friend, he sent a handwritten note. 3 sentences. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I hope you're doing well. He never asked for anything. I never replied. But I kept the note. Our company crossed $5 million in annual recurring revenue that quarter. We hired 12 new people. None of them had ever mocked anyone's dreams. The Slack screenshots are still in the folder. I never posted them, never sent them to a journalist, never wrote a Twitter thread. The win wasn't in their humiliation. It was in the fact that the company existed at all, that the thing they said would fail became the thing they needed. I learned something in those 2 years. Revenge is passive. It's what happens to you. Boundaries are active. They're what you build. The real victory wasn't proving them wrong. It was proving myself right. Not every bridge needs to burn. Some just need a toll. You get to decide who pays it. And who walks across for free. Success isn't about the haters you silence. It's about the voice inside you that you choose to believe. I believed mine. And it built something real. A few months ago, I started a small fund. We invest in first-time founders. People who've been laughed at. People with something to prove. We don't ask for prestigious degrees or perfect resumes. We ask one question: who told you that you couldn't? And then we write the check. This story is a fictionalized dramatization for entertainment purposes. It's not legal or financial advice. If you're facing workplace issues or starting a business, consult with a licensed professional. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had someone doubt you, then come back later asking for help? What did you do? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this one hit home, subscribe. We're just getting started.